Welcome to another episode of BOACast. I'm David. This is Ian. We are making our way through here. Had a couple other recordings that we did earlier, and I'm excited to revisit a conversation we actually had last night with a mutual friend of ours, and it was really interesting. He was talking about the difference in his self-talk and the difference in his prayer, and how that really had a huge effect on his life. And it generated a really fun moment that I wanted to share with all of you. And the idea is the difference between, please, Lord, take this from me, and Lord, I surrender this to you. Right? So, please, Lord, take this from me is, I don't want this thing. I don't want it. Please take it from me. Take it from me. And you pull and I keep pulling. Lord, take it from me. Right? And that's not what we should do. Right?
No.
Hands open. Lord, I surrender this to you. Please take it from me so I can focus on something else. And now it is gone. I've given it up. So I surrender this to you. Hey, something better.
The Bible's better still.
Yeah.
But in the example, something different.
I really liked this analogy as it kind of sprung out of our discussion, because it is really true. When we say, please take this from me, we are putting the onus on God to fight us for something that we're unable or unwilling to let go of, to surrender. Please take this from me is not taking the agency. Lord, I surrender this to you is taking agency. That is saying, I know I need help here. Not fighting, not holding on, but here, open hand. So, yeah, I thought it was a great moment.
It was a very moving moment, and it was the visualization, I think, as for me, visualizations always help me. Mm-hmm. I think that visualization of, I'm clinging to this thing, please take it, versus I surrender it, I'm not holding on to it at all, is incredibly powerful. I think we more often than not are, please take this, not surrender. Since that conversation, trying to understand or kind of flush out why we do that so often to ourselves. Because we do it a lot and really well. I think of in my own life that struggling with sin and bringing myself to a point where I had battled the same battle, the battle with purity and pornography, and I had turned away from it, but it kept nagging me. It kept going on. And it was probably a lot of that, Lord, take this from me. And then one day I just broke and I said, God, I surrender this to you. Please do what you will. I'm done carrying this around. It sucks. And he's like, all right, cool. About time. And the power of that is a little hard to process, I think, at least for me, being that my walk in faith is not, I'm 43, but I haven't been walking with Christ my whole life. It's, 8 years, such right now. The surrender came probably a year ago, so 7 years of this, trying to figure this thing out, still trying to figure it out. We'll always be trying to figure this thing out. But the
surrender is a bit of an ongoing thing too, right?
But to also recognize that I know other people that have surrendered things to God that they're battling or struggling with, and he just doesn't necessarily take the whole thing away. Now he may help, he may assist. There might be a reason that they still need to carry it. I don't know. I don't begin to kid myself that I know. But then for God to come into my life and me surrender something and him to actually take it.
Yeah.
Whoa. But I think also if we get something that we surrender to God and he doesn't immediately just take it or change it or lessen the load, I think we also naturally will go from that, okay, here I am. Okay, I surrender this. I surrender this. I surrender this. I surrender this. Okay, well, I guess I got to hold on to it because you didn't take it right away on my schedule, on my wishes. Mm-hmm. And I think when that happens, to me, God knew your heart the whole time. Mm. There was that little bit of, have you really surrendered this whole thing? Because if you've truly surrendered it, doesn't matter how long you're sitting there with hands open with it. Mm-hmm. Whatever God's will, okay. Doesn't matter. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it falling out of my hands. I'm not worried about what happens to it because it's God's. It's not mine. Yeah. It's surrendered to you. But if you're surrendered and you're surrendered and you're surrendered and okay.
Grab on again.
And I think that's our need for immediate satisfaction, our need for results, our need for things to be our way. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's not easy.
So there's a wonderful man that I met a few years ago, and one of the things he talks about, and he's a theologian who's written a couple of books, but he talks about as long as you fight on the battlefield of behavior, you will lose eventually. So the battlefield needs to be for your heart, not for just your actions. And I really agree with that. I'm a big fan of his stuff and what he does. Yeah, I should get him in here sometime.
Yeah,
I bet he would come.
I like that though.
Yeah, he did when we opened this place. I actually had him in here and we prayed over the place together, because he wants us to be doing work that has meaning and that helps people to grow into who they want to be, right? And yeah, I don't know. So Becoming Our Age isn't explicitly religious, but I keep dipping more into the fact that the Bible is a really important part of how I view a lot of these things. And also, I take a very academic, intellectual look. That sounds self-aggrandizing. I take an analytical look, right? And as I take an analytical look at things, sometimes it's easy to miss the heart of them and the practical, hands-on. So, yeah.
I think it's one of the things I enjoy most about our conversations.
Yeah.
You're much more the analytical side, and I'm much more of the heart feeling,
let's go,
emotion side, as I've displayed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I think actually, right in front of us, not even thinking about it, but the surrender piece and God's timing, I think we've had some conversations. I could speak into that for the audience. I worked at a place for almost 8 years, and that came to an end a couple years ago. And I was let go, found out I was getting let go, got to work out a 2-week notice. Anyways, details that don't really matter. And
you got a 2-week notice from your employer, so you were working 2 more weeks, even though you knew you were being let go, right?
Yeah. So what happened is I, through being just knowing people and being smart and around, and like my job is knowing people, reading situations. That's what I do. I had a feeling that something was up, and then I caught wind of it, and then I asked the ownership what was going on and if I was being let go, and they said yes. To which I said, okay, when's my last day? Because I didn't have plans to go anywhere. So, and I think, I don't know. I haven't had the chance to ask them if I was going to be let go like the next day or what the plan was, but I think it was very gracious of them to let me work 2 weeks out. Because I still cared about the place. I still cared about the people that I served, the people I served with. My heart was still in it. But unless that came to an end, and through the season of me leaving there, speaking to friends and mentors, it came on my heart to actually leave there and pray over the owner, pray over the company, surrender to God, and walk away. And I did that. And I truly walked out those doors like, okay, this is yours, God. What happens here is not mine. I'm off to whatever's next. You know, whether I liked what happened or not was irrelevant. The fact was that this is what was happening. So I got to choose how I reacted to the situation, you know, and I chose to be the best disciple of God I could, the best servant, the best hands and feet that I could. And how can I represent who I think God wants me to be the best in this situation? And so I surrendered it and I left. Fast forward to 4 weeks ago, and I get a text message phone call out of the blue from that previous employer inquiring on what I'm doing, how things are going, and ultimately if I want to come back. And being the way things ended, I didn't know, but it really came down to, I knew I had grown. I knew I had flaws when I left there. I definitely had made mistakes, and I was not innocent and the reason for my departure. But all the hearts involved, that when I left there, we were all troubled. We were all battling individual things that were creating the reason that I left. Fair. So it really came down to a conversation of the hearts of the people involved, and, you know, did it make sense to get the band back together and keep this thing going? And I will tell you, yes, it did. Yes, we've all grown. It's amazing. Yes, I know it's still work. Yes, it'll have its ups and downs, but it is, God has been so at the center of it, and it's where I'm supposed to be. And I fully believe that all comes down to the path that's been taken through it, to the surrendering it to God, the piece of just walking away and not being wrapped up in it, being able to distance myself long enough to recognize my own failures and faults in it, and then process and work those things out through God and through community and friends and mentors to, yeah, okay. So I was pretty uncoachable when I left there. Yeah, that's not good. I can see where I was causing problems. Was I the only one? No. But now, for God, I didn't think this would happen. People had asked me over the years, would you go back? I don't know. I mean, at first it was no way. Then it's, I don't know. And then probably the last 6 months when people would ask, it would depend on the hearts of the individuals. That's what would matter. And there has been a great growth and a season of change that God has done in the hearts of all parties involved. And I'm very excited to see what God has planned for us. But I truly think that comes down to me surrendering it initially. I think over the last couple of years, there's been some surrender inside of the walls of how their direction's going and leading and what they want it to be, and recognizing God's plan and things and what that looks like. So, but for me personally, I can speak to, it was a surrender that I didn't even know if I'd ever have this opportunity again. So that's, I think, about as fully surrendered as you can get. I didn't have an expectation of going back there, even though I had poured a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into it, and it was hard for me to leave. I didn't have that expectation. And then God just showed up and said, here you go. So I know it's a little tangent-y but that's surrender.
It's great. Yeah.
That's my recent surrender story.
Yeah. Well, and it is really intriguing when you're in a place for the right reason versus in a place because you want to be there, right? And it's not that wanting to be there is bad, but we can get in our own way, right? For sure.
Oh yeah, I got my own way a lot before, and that's even walking back in now. I'm so bought into whatever God's got for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's some of the anxiety or different feelings I might have had around some of the things related to the job and doing. Just like, I trust you, God. You brought me back here for a reason. I can trust your plan over my plan and know that it's going to work out.
Yeah. Well, this might be a little more of an ashes to armor thing to do here. But Paul talks about in Romans, he talks about how none of us can live up to the law, right? The law being the rules that God has for us, the expectations that we must live up to be perfect. None of us can do that. And even knowing the law, we can't live up to it. So how much more is it the law that we don't know, right? So I'm losing exactly where I was.
That's the Bible for you.
Yeah. For I do not do what I want, but I do the very things I hate. Now, if I do what I do not want, I agree with the law, and that is good. So now it is no longer I who sin, but the sin that dwells within me. For I know that nothing good dwells in me, that is my flesh. For I have the desire to do what is right, but not the ability to carry it out. For I do not do the good I want, but the evil I do not want is what I keep on doing. Now, if I do what I do not want, it is no longer I who do it, but the sin that dwells within me. There's a lot of movement here in terms of how he's talking about this. The basic idea is having a desire to do the right thing and actually doing the right thing are different. And that brings us back, to, I know I keep revisiting this, but the thought, faith, and belief discussion is so critical for me on understanding the way that our hearts and minds work, and the way that the Bible is structured. So none of us can do right all the time. Human beings are not good in our heart of hearts. All right? We are selfish. And a lot of the best systems in the world depend on human selfishness, right? I'm going to get mine. I'm going to take care of me. I'm going to take care of those close to me, and I'm going to get mine. And if you expect human beings to be selfish and to seek power and to try to lord it over each other, your system is going to work better in general, right? So expect selfishness. But also, too, what we are called to be, both by the law and by Jesus, is selfless, kind, caring, to value others above ourselves, right? And I love the saying that humility isn't thinking less of yourself, it's thinking of yourself less.
Yeah.
You spend more time with your attention outwards instead of inwards.
Well, that ties right back to a conversation we had also, the main character, supporting cast.
Yep, exactly.
And that most of your life truly should be a supporting cast with very little main character.
Mm-hmm.
And if you live that way, it's actually the most fulfilling life, the most powerful life, and the most beneficial life. But we're naturally bent to want to be the main character. That's where we're wired to be. So you have to be actively thinking about, how do I, as the Bible says, die thyself and actually serve, and serve without expectations and surrender these things. And it's far from easy.
Yep. Definitely difficult.
I may share stories of things that have gone well for me. I could fill a whole Rolodex full of things that have gone wrong. with somebody to blame. This guy. I really know how to mess things up.
Don't we all? Don't we all? Well, anyway, I haven't overcome my selfishness yet. I don't know about you, but happy to see you walking in the way that you're walking, to be practicing surrender. And folks, remember, please, Lord, take this from me while you death grip it, is not nearly as powerful as, Lord, I surrender this to you. What will you replace it with? That's my encouragement to all of you from conversations we just had this week. And well, I've kept you here for a while. I think I should let you go.
Oh, I'm always down for a good conversation.
Yeah.
And hopefully we're bringing value to all of you as you tune in here. And if you have any thoughts on the difference between God take this and surrender or personal experiences, love to hear it in the comments, engage with that. If you need help with it, we're here for that too. You can reach either of us and we'd be happy to engage and assist and walk that out. Because the ways that I've gotten to be able to surrender the things I've surrendered and be where I'm at, I don't know of a single thing that I've been able to get to the point and surrender to God that I did on my own. I've done it with the support, feedback, and encouragement of others around me.
Yeah.
I can't think of one time I've done that myself. And that just tells you how valuable and important it is to have that community.
Community is super important. And that community speaks directly to relationships, which is one of the 4 pillars of Becoming Our Age. Becoming Our Age, we focus on learning, laughs, relationships, and responsibility to help you become who you're trying to become, and to grow into who you want to grow into. Please feel free to hit subscribe, leave us a comment, as Ian said. Have a great rest of your day. And remember, if you're lonely, be the person who reaches out and is a friend to somebody else instead of waiting to receive.